Hello.
Hi. How's everyone doing? Welcome back. New semester. We're still here. Still ready to dive deep into Catholic teachings and then just other general Catholic knowledge. Still Lucas. I'm still joined by Steph for the semester.
Yeah, new semester. Same podcast. Should be good. Today we're going to talk about human dignity.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a hefty topic and it pervades every single aspect of life, from the smallest little thing to really big issues, which we'll get into all of them. But we just want to start with, what is human dignity? Like, what does that even mean? The Center for Bioethics and Human Dignity says that human dignity is the recognition that human beings possess a special value intrinsic to their humanity, and as such are worthy of respect simply because they are human beings. Thus, every human being, regardless of age, ability, status, gender, ethnicity, etc., is to be treated with respect. So yeah, it's just everyone is worth like $1 million, and we got to treat everyone like they're worth that.
And also, as we, go into this is not, we're not getting political with anything that we're saying. Everything what we're saying is there was that definition, but then everything else is from the catechism. So everything here, we're not going political, and I just want to preface that before we keep on going.
Yeah, unfortunately, human dignity gets very political very easily, and it shouldn't be, because there are absolute truths of the worth of human beings. So we're not even going to go there. Everything we say has no intention other than what the Lord desires.
Mm-hmm. And then, so I guess going more into human dignity, everybody should be rooted in love and treat others the way you want to be treated. I know that's like kind of a cliche saying, but first you got like love yourself, root yourself in love, and then when you have like their self appreciation of your own human life, then like appreciating the lives of others, and being rooted in that, and just like having love be the center of it. You see everybody's like souls, I would say, and not just like a face, but like see like their whole embodiment, and then with that love is where this appreciation for who we are, and it's really beautiful. It's actually such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, about like seeing people as souls, like to look at somebody and to just like fully appreciate them, because it's really easy for us to kind of just pass by people, and they're just part of our reality, not so much a reality in and of themselves. And it's really hard to get ourselves to remember that person right there has as much dignity and worth as I do. And it's like a reality check for you about not only your pride, but also what are you doing with that person? Are you making eye contact? Are you smiling? Are you like wishing bad on them if they cut you off on the parkway or something? Every single person that you meet in whatever horrible way, Jersey driving, they have inherent dignity.
Yeah, and same goes with even when you're like walking the streets, you see the homeless, like they have the same dignity that everyone who has homes do. Those who are disabled, same thing goes with that. And then everybody that you can help like pray for and respect them. They're just as much human life, and it's even like you go to a hospital and see like the sick, and though like maybe I guess they don't have as much expectant life, do you go in there and you treat them as a human being, not as a corpse, like ready to go.
Because you can never know like what their potential is. Only the Lord really knows that. Only the Lord knows what's in store for them, and He has so much for every single person. And it can be very easy for us to assume that they did something bad to get there, like they're cursed in some way, and that's why this happened. Or they just did something wrong. But sometimes it's really just the luck of the draw, you know? I'm a firm believer that like half of life is just pure luck. And if you just get a bad deck, if you just get a bad hand of cards, you're screwed. And sometimes that's not how everyone sees it. But it's not the person's fault that they're in like a compromised position, and it's our job as fellow humans, as fellow people with dignity, to remind them of that, because it's so easy to forget your dignity when you're in a position of just like feeling lowly and worthless.
For sure.
So our first heavy topic today is, since it's not January anymore, it's February 2nd. But we're pretty close, so we thought we'd talk about pro-life. Usually the march at DC happens in January, toward the end, and it's the month of life, and so everybody's going crazy, just supporting all those unborn babies is great. It didn't happen this year. They did some online things, but because of, COVID. But it's still a thing, and it still needs to be talked about, and so we thought we'd mention some of the theology behind it. Basically, according to the Catechism, human life must be respected and protected absolutely from the moment of conception. Sorry, guys. So formal cooperation in an abortion constitutes a grave offense. The Church attaches the canonical penalty of excommunication to this crime against human life. So it's a big deal. And it's not to say, like, we don't respect the mother. I think that's one of the biggest arguments is, like, how do you love a child if you don't love the mom? But that's actually something that I wish we did better, and I want to see our country specifically do better is love the mother the same way that we love the child. Especially moms who are in those financially troubling situations, who are in abusive relationships, who have been wounded in some way and now have this life to take care of. It's so much deeper than just don't have an abortion. You have to support life, and that goes back to just inherent dignity of the mom as well as the child. They both have so much dignity, and so it's church law that we respect that, and it's really important that we do that, because if we start accepting that unborn children are not worth dignity, then it's a short trip to saying that people who don't have homes don't have dignity and just are in compromising positions here.
Yeah, I totally agree. And then something else, it's my body, my decision is I guess another phrase I hear a lot with it too. And sure, I mean, you can think with that, but and just when at the very beginning, before my conversion or everything, I didn't really have much of a stance, but I just thought it made more sense for pro-choice, just for I don't know, unwanted pregnancies. But then something that really got me was I was just is it conception? It's this idea that they're based off DNA, based off they have a set eye color, they have a set hair color, expected height, just this the genomes are all set up, and so that is that's a person in there. It's not they can't feel, but there's already expected journey for this child, and that as I was having my conversion, and yeah, I just when I heard that, I'm just I don't know, that's what it told me. I'm just wow, this is human life, and obviously I want them to be brought up in a healthy household, but that's where if we get human dignity right with each other, human dignity for kids and newborns, is that much better. Not better.
I don't think either of us can talk today.
Nah, it's long weeks have been going on, so definitely a little bit tired. But as the Stoke stance, yeah, it's the beauty of I don't know, childbirth is like, even though it's like kind of gross, like, it's like blood and whatnot, and like painful for the woman's side for sure. Um, but just, this is like a new life. And I mean, there's like a reason why when you see like a little kid, like everyone's like, oh, baby. Like, it's more than just being cute, but it's just like the purity of it, just like the potential,
Yeah.
all of it together. It just like, it's like God's creation. And it's just like, as like you look, it's okay. It's not just as you look at a really beautiful mountain range and be like, the beauty. It's different kind of beauty, but similar kind of aspect of just how like God has created something good and beautiful.
Yeah, that the 2 points, purity and potential, I think really are key. Babies are so pure. It's like so awesome. And that's another reason why this one I think strikes most people as most wrong. There's a lot of people who are pro-life, but they don't like agree with a lot of other human dignity issues, and I'm not going to defend that because there's issues there too. But it's because of the purity of the life. They have done no wrong, and so consequence shouldn't be taken out on them, because they do have full potential. Like a full genome. They are a whole person, and no, they can't think, and they're not really conscious, and yeah, like they're not dependent of themselves. But that's like a silly argument. No one is dependent on themselves at first, and that's good. We're made for relationships, so we're supposed to be reliant on other people. And someone who gave a speech at the pro-life march years ago, I want to say 4 years ago, spoke about this, not on a theological stance, but on simply the potential of a child. The potential of an unborn child alone justifies its dignity and worth, simply by that it can grow up and just be a whole person, which is just so, so cool. But yeah, so babies are awesome, and we need to respect them as well as the mothers. It goes into everything, like we don't want children born in broken homes. We don't. But the solution isn't to not make them born. The solution is to fix the actual problem. And of course it's so complicated and complex, but that's why love first, and everything you do out of love, even if it's not perfect, is better than anything you do out of self-interest.
Amen.
So our next heavy topic, yes?
Yeah, we're really trucking on this one.
Euthanasia and physician-assisted suicide.
Ooh.
Yes. So each topic we go into kind of gets a little bit more complex. Even among Catholics there could be disagreements, but I'm going to go to the Catechism because that's the best source to go to at times like these. So just some of the stuff that the Catechism includes. So those whose lives are diminished or weakened deserve special respect. I love that, special respect. Like not more, but like a different form of respect than everybody else. Sick or handicapped persons should be helped to lead lives as normal as possible. Whatever its motives and means, direct euthanasia consists in putting an end to the lives of handicapped, sick, or dying persons. It is morally unacceptable. It seems pretty concrete to me. Absolutely morally unacceptable, which, I mean, I do find comfort in that, like, strictness of that. Like, there are no exceptions. But it does get kind of cool, because there is a difference between ordinary and extraordinary care. So ordinary care is like feeding someone. You can't like stop feeding somebody. That's like not allowed. But extraordinary care is like going in for your 100th surgery. Extraordinary care is going above and beyond to sustain a life. And it's the extraordinary care that isn't required. So we're not saying that you need to like push for like someone to survive as long as possible. That could honestly be like a disservice to people and human dignity. but everyone needs to be ordinarily cared for as best as possible. So specifically, according to the Catechism, discontinuing medical procedures that are burdensome, dangerous, extraordinary, or disproportionate to the expected outcome can be legitimate. It is the refusal of overzealous treatment. Here, one does not will to cause death. One's inability to impede it is merely accepted. The decisions should be made by the patient if he is competent and able, or, if not, by those legally entitled to act for the patient, whose reasonable will and legitimate interest must always be respected. So it's all about intent. So you don't have to go into this big surgery to be morally acceptable, because your intent isn't to kill the person. They're gonna naturally die, you know, which very gruesome topic.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I agree. The harshness of it, I guess, not really, but how to a point, it says you don't stop taking care of this person, and I guess where my it is kind of a change of subject, but related. It's just how we're expected to take care of our elders and that kind of thing. At least I know it's not that as common in practice in America, but so Puerto Rican family, you got Latin America, it's very common that the grandparents live in the same house as the family, and then they're the head of the house actually, which is really cool, and they're treated with the utmost respect, and that's just I know it's not directly related, but I mean generally those who are dealing with this are are the elderly, and it just made me think of just we just as we're called to take care of them in that kind of way within our household, we're also called to take care of them when they're on their hospital bed, or wherever they are. We're called consistently to take care of them no matter the situation.
Yeah. Not just when it's convenient.
Yeah.
I think is the key here.
Yeah. And it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's we're not coming in and being oh, just because these are the rules, it's really easy. I mean, obviously we have lives and we have work or whatever, but
yeah, and there's real emotional trauma that can come from being a caretaker in general. Caretakers are, I have the utmost respect for them just because of how difficult it is to be a caretaker and to deal with someone who is on their way to death. It's I think the most stressful job that one can have, and a lot of caretakers actually end up passing away soon after the people they care for do because of the stress. So we are by no means saying that it's easy. It's one of this one specifically, I think, is specifically hard because while you watch someone you love in so much pain, you yourself are also in pain, because you're having to make certain choices or just stay by them while they go through this. But yeah, I think that the key thing here is that ordinary versus extraordinary care. Just care for the person with what they basically need as a human, and that includes love and compassion. Please don't not love and be compassionate. Not just feed them, don't treat them like an animal, but you don't have to go that extra mile. We are not choosing to you don't have to choose to extend life past its natural point. And I think that that's something beautiful the church offers is that choice to naturally go, but you also have the choice to fight for your life if that's what you see and that's what you want. So all in all, euthanasia, not okay. Physician-assisted suicide, not okay. Definitely a complex subject. But no.
Just no.
Just no.
As much appreciation.
You can't will for someone to die. Simple as that. You have to always will their best interest at heart, and at the end of the day, the Lord will take them. That's it.
Yeah. Well, we're keep on going with this the heavy stuff. Next one is suicide. So suicide contradicts the natural inclination of the human being to preserve and perpetuate his life. Is gravely contrary to the just love of self. It likewise offends love of neighbor because it unjustly breaks the lies of solidity with family, nation, and other human societies to which we continue to have obligations. Suicide is contrary to love for the living God.
That was solidarity.
Oh, my bad.
That's right.
My glasses, I guess, not doing the best of jobs.
You're quite far.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. I gave you.
We did warn them we couldn't speak today.
Yeah, I I hope this is at least like, I don't know, lift a little bit, makes it a little bit lighter for like what like the subjects we're on. But yeah, I mean, suicide as a whole is just, I just like how it affects the people around. Like, I'm not gonna say that like the death of like a person naturally is like any less sad than that of a suicide. But the scariest part of suicide is just like the surprise factor with it. I at least like I've known people personally who have gone, and I've seen how like that. I mean, it was on me on top of those around, and yeah, I mean, it's so sad, and just like that, you know, everything that was going on in the world, that the only out that they see is to end it. And yeah, this is directly going against human dignity, because it's just like, you know, self-dignity is also human dignity too. And yeah, it as a whole, yeah, I've seen like families broken because of it. And I don't know. It's hard to talk about. It's hard to talk about for sure.
Yeah, especially nowadays. I think most people have some relation to someone who has experienced at least a suicide attempt with someone that they know. And it's just, it absolutely breaks my heart to see or hear about these instances, because yeah, it's self-love and understanding your own dignity, you know, and it's so complex to be able to understand what is going on in the person's head and what kind of hurt that they're feeling, you know. Like, I understand sadness, but like, I don't understand sadness on that level, and that's the part that breaks my heart, is that I actually like don't know what that's like. And if I've been able to get to a point of just like complete hopelessness, I can't even imagine what the feeling going on in someone who's contemplating suicide must be. And so it's not like you don't respect your own life. It's a real problem, and people need help who I think most attempted suicides come from depression. If you're experiencing depression, like, seek help. It is definitely like, you have to love yourself first, before you can love other people, and even before you can love God. You have to like love yourself as a person. You have to understand your dignity before you can love anything besides yourself. And it seems selfish and it seems prideful, but like, someone told me that a while ago, and it really does make sense. How can you love your creator if you don't love what he created?
Sure.
So suicide, church obviously not okay with it. That doesn't mean that like we hate people who like try to commit suicide. That's the thing. I think a lot of what the church says can be understood as like not being compassionate, when in reality it's standing for life on this stance that is unmovable. It's standing in these absolutes, because life is so worth it to the church, and it's the job of us as parishioners, as the church, to be compassionate in those moments. And so, yeah, such a complicated issue, but again, not allowed.
Yeah. And for those who've attempted suicide, that's even more reason not to just show love, because we're called to love all people, but to be more vocal about how you love that person. Just as it's the love that through family, through friends, through spiritual family. Even when you don't love yourself, surrounding yourself in that, the walls break, and the love of others to you eventually it'll hit home. It'll hit home, and that's when you start loving yourself again, and with that too, you experience the love of the Lord, in even a deeper way. That's why relationships are so powerful, in so many senses. But that for sure is another one to bring us closer through the love of others, to learn that how much the Lord actually loves us.
And He does love us, and that's the thing, so is much. If you really take that in and you really learn that, and it is a learned thing. You don't just know the fact. You learn it, because it is a way of life to know it. Because it's very easy in those vulnerable moments, in those times where we're most hopeless, to forget it and to not believe it. And so it's a firm belief to know that you are loved by the Creator of the universe, and that's a starting point. Yeah. Yeah,
it's also it's not just a general love too. It's just oh, you're a person, I love you. No, He actually loves you for who you are.
Yeah, not as part of this larger structure.
Being. He's
as
I created man, so I love man. But no, He's actually, I love Steph, or I love Lucas. I always just, it takes me to Matthew, where He's every single hair on your head. I know I know the exact number, just because I know who you are. And it's that specific love to speak into our own lives, and it's you speak to those, and at least around in our community, the Lord loves us in His own way. There's different ways He shows love to us, and it's really beautiful how just individually He loves us too.
Yeah. And by building that relationship, the more deeply you build that relationship with the Lord, the more you'll start to notice that in the more minute ways that you'll pick up that, that's even the most ridiculous things or the most stressful things will make you laugh, because it's actually the Lord loving you in that moment. So just an encouragement. Thanks for bringing up Matthew. I don't know the specific verse. But honestly, it's really not hard to Google up.
No.
Google up? Oh my gosh. Who says Google up?
Google up. I'm probably not right on this one, but I feel it's Matthew 15. I could totally be wrong with that. And if I am, I do apologize, but I know for sure it is in Matthew. We are looking it up as we speak.
Oh, wait. Yes, Matthew 10:30. You were off.
I was off.
But it was Matthew, so you're okay.
I knew for sure it was in Matthew. I knew.
Yeah, Matthew 10:30.
It's also in Luke too.
Also in Luke. Yeah. Lots of stuff overlap. It's it's historical or something.
it's like they just want to say it again just to make sure it really sinks in.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, as you're reading, I've read this before. Yes, that's why you need to
You need to know it.
You gotta know that. He really loves you. But actually, I guess is a good transition of religion to religion. So respect for the individuals, even if we do not respect something in particular about the organization. So this is this one's a tricky one, for sure. I mean, we're called to live, we're called to love every individual, but as Catholics, we believe that Catholicism is the one true faith. It's in the catechism, and with that belief, then you talk to someone else who be like, oh, but that teaching is wrong, and that is just not correct. I think it definitely makes it harder to love the other person. Just like, well, you're just like
Well, love's not supposed to be easy, so...
fully just like disqualifying what I believe in, and that doesn't feel great.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Yeah, it kind of goes both ways. Like, if they don't respect me, how am I supposed to respect them?
yeah,
Kind of thing.
and it's but at the same time, like, just because you're like, it's almost like not loving to not, I guess, like, stand up for like your faith. I don't know if I'm saying that in the right way.
No, you are.
Like, we're not supposed to just like lie down and be like, oh wait, you're right, and this is I am so wrong, and that kind of thing. It's like we actually should stand up.
That's a spiritual work of mercy.
Yeah.
When you tell people, like, okay, don't go up to people and be like, you're wrong, you're stupid, but to like educate people is a spiritual work of mercy. You don't let your friend go and screw up their life when you know the answer. I know we don't know all the answers. There are plenty. I screw up all the time. I know plenty of Catholics who screw up all the time.
I miss a lot.
Yeah, like, by no means any Catholic who says that they know all the answers is lying to your face. But it is a fine line between respecting other religions and moral relativism. I think that's definitely the place where society's kind of pushing us to kind of believe that, it doesn't matter what you believe, respecting all as equal. And yes, you respect all people as equal, but not all beliefs as equal, because some beliefs are rooted in real lies of the devil and can really destroy the rationale and intellect of the human person. And so we have to be really careful with what we're saying, because again, like, this is not I'm Catholic, so therefore I can be righteous because I know truth, or like I know better than someone, because some people know how to love better than I do and they're atheists. There's definitely things that I can't do as a Catholic, but I can stand for truth and love my fellow person. And it's not like I don't always have to be trying to convert them, but I can never go like, yeah, your belief is as true as my belief is.
And I just, like, from my own personal, just like in my life, my stepmom actually deals with those who have gotten stuck in cults, and like getting them out of cults on top of, like, just bringing them back. A lot of times, I mean, they're absolutely miserable, even though, like, this is like the truth and what it was rooted in. I'm doing air quotes for the truth part, but they're like stuck in it, and it would be not love enough for trying to get them out of it. And it's like, first of all, it's very servant-hearted of her, because she does it for no money. But she, like, her standing up for their lives and trying to get them out of the cult, even though they might believe it's true, is actually a way that she's just loving the individual, and that's like off like religion to religion. So yeah, and you just hear her talking about it, you can tell, like, once they know God through Catholicism, their life gets a lot better. And it's like,
that's funny. It's like it's true or something.
It's like it's true or something. All of a sudden, the family starts getting along, and they're not depressed and about to commit suicide. And it's so sad. I mean, first of all, it's so sad to see those who get stuck in cults, and the way they say it, they want you to believe it's true, and it's like its intent is to be like attractive in a sense, to pull you into a direction, and once you're in there, like, they like hold you in there.
Yeah.
Like leaving it is not really excuse, and like, at least compared to like the Catholic faith, they're not gonna like hold a gun to you if you're like, I don't want to be Catholic anymore.
Yeah.
As if you're in like, other faiths, sometimes that is how
it's very murky.
It's and it's scary. It's very scary.
And it's so important, like, our free will is also to be upheld at the utmost respect. Like, I, as a whole human person, make choices, and those choices should be respected. And I'm like, if I do something dumb, yeah, you should tell me. But, like, that's my choice at the end of the day. And no one should feel responsible for someone else's choices. And it seems like a lot of those situations don't provide that free will aspect of.
Oh no, there's very much a lack of free will for sure. It's it's you hear some terrible stories just because of just like what cults have done to their lives. Just like the amount of like divorce that I've heard that comes from it just because it breaks families apart that much. I mean, that could be a whole another discussion that we could talk about.
Honestly, I'm inspired.
Maybe we can go over that in the future. But
go your mom.
Yeah, she's
awesome.
She's an absolute beast for sure. Love her to death. But yeah, so
respecting people, it's great.
Respecting people. So that's. Whew,
that was a lot.
I need to take a deep breath just because.
There's so much more too, which is scary.
Yeah, well, like we've only done like things that are like I guess at the forefront to it, and like easier things to talk about. There's like
for sure
so much like deeper and layers that we can keep on. It
gets so deep and so complex.
Go into it. But if you take one thing from this, just like being like more gracious to others and just like respecting them no matter how they look, which is also something we never with race and everything.
Another
guys
point.
Race does not matter. They're still a human being. I feel like everyone we're talking to who listens to this understands that, but
you would think
I
you would hope.
I would sure hope so. But like no matter age, how you look, like attractiveness doesn't mean like someone who's like, more attractive or less attractive.
Even like, patterns in people in like society. So stereotypes, please throw your stereotypes out. Like they are against human dignity. If you do not look at a person as the complete individual, you're doing something wrong.
And then with that, and then your own life, loving yourself on top of like being gracious to those, and having the love being the center of that. Love wins, and love is beautiful in so many ways. There's a reason why like you can like it's almost hard to describe what love is. I think that's like that just like shows like how powerful love truly is, because it's indescribable. When like something's indescribable, it's just like that good, that great, that it rules. And within human dignity, when there's love, there will be human dignity. And that's it. So if there's one thing you get from this, please love the people in your life, even if it's hard.
Love yourself.
Love yourself. Love your family.
Love the strangers.
Love the strangers, even when you don't know them.
Yeah.
You just keep that love pumping, Keep it pouring out.
And just like be thankful for everything. Like the more thankful for you are for everything in your life, the more you will appreciate life in general, which will just like keep pushing you more into like understanding and loving every single person. So that's what we got. Started on for our first one this semester. Definitely started on a heavier note than any of our other podcasts. We really jumped in
that we had, but I mean,
it shouldn't get much heavier than this.
No, I
should get much lighter.
We'll probably do something a little bit lighter. I mean, it was just like the theme, just with March for Life, and then just like appreciation. I mean, we saw like last year with all, like all like the riots and like police, like
yeah,
all of it together. It's just there's been, and then like also just all those who've been affected by COVID, the amount of lives that have been lost in the past year. It's so sad. And I mean, I guess like not really reflecting on the year, but just as it's very prevalent. And then both me and Stephanie felt like this is gonna be this is something that we
needs to be talked about.
We gotta talk
it's deep,
about.
but it needs to be talked about.
Yeah, so diving into it.
So,
but
yeah. Love yourself, love other people, and love the Lord. Simple as that.
Well, we're gonna keep on going, guys. This won't be this. I mean, this one is heavy, but I promise.
Yeah, we'll be
get
back.
We'll be back. It's good to be back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have a great rest of your day.
Yeah.
And good luck this semester for sure.
Yes. Good luck this semester, guys.
Have a good one, everyone.